called When I Get Out of Bed,
Uh-huh.
and where the lyrics basically go, I haven't yelled at anybody. I didn't give anybody the finger. I didn't lose my cool. It's been an okay day so far, but I'm sure going to need some help when I get out of bed. Just amazing lyrics in that regard, dude. So it's not all just candy. It's certainly
I mean, you do have to be careful when you are writing positive message based kind of songs. You don't want to be preachy. I think most all of us that are songwriters and musicians, we first write the music for ourselves. Certainly for me, I do it for myself. There's something I'm going through, I'll write about it. And a lot of times it's almost like the wiser soul in me is speaking to my day-to-day kind of ego self that's struggling through the day-to-day stuff. And it's just like, everything's okay, you're doing fine. Just breathe and relax and, step forward, that kind of thing. Yeah, a lot of it, it's not all happy, positive stuff. We were always struggled for what the best name to name this association, and tried lots of different names. Positive is the one that kind of stuck because it's just straightforward. There's a positive effect by listening to this music, and it doesn't mean it's always upbeat, happy, positive stuff. It's like life. It's life music. It's dealing with life, and improving your life. You can change your mood within 3 minutes listening to a 3-minute song with a poignant message. That's the great thing about pop music. It's kind of like a mantra, because they have the repetitive choruses, and it just gets you out of your head, more into your body and your emotions, and you can start more living it easier than just thinking about it or reading about it or something. And you can do it in a few minutes.
I've certainly had times where in my life where I've ended up listening to a song 35 times and crying every time I listened to it,
yeah,
because it had some meaning to me, and it moved me forward. It was a positive message in that whatever the message was, it was positive for me. It moved me forward. I want to move a little bit into the other hats that you wear, because first of all, you're an artist. You started out as an artist and are still an artist, writing songs, producing them,
right.
and performing them. And so tell us just a little bit about your own music career. You've written some songs, and where are you at right now, and what do you focus on?
I released my I guess it's my 6th CD a couple of years ago, called The Piano and Me. Probably my most more introspective one. Most of mine tend to be more upbeat pop or rock kind of stuff. Again, it was kind of indicative of kind of where I was. But I've been besides a family guy, and I've got a wife and 2 kids in college now, and 2 dogs and all. I've got the full, as Zorba and Zorba the Greek says, I've got the full catastrophe. I've got the full thing.
You've got to upgrade your picture then on the website, because you don't look like you have 2 kids in college, for sure. So either the picture's old or you're.
It's a few years old, but I am pretty boyish. I have to say I'm a boyish 53. So.
Scott, you also do coaching, which mixes in beautifully with the music that you're talking about, with the association. Right. Tell us about your coaching practice.
Actually, I was invited out back a number of years ago. This guy, Dave Vallis, who is a master coach, has been doing it for a long time. He got a copy of one of my CDs and really loved it, and he called me up and invited me out to play at one of his 3-day workshops out in California. So I went out there, and I would play a couple songs throughout the day, and it was like I found my audience here. And I also realized that, I had been doing life coaching through my music for a long time.
Sure.
And it was just really nice to find a nice little niche there. And while I was doing that one weekend, I said, oh, this is really cool, and ended up going through the 15-month coaching program. And since then, have done some coaching. It's very soulful, rewarding kind of work, and helping them move towards the future that they want. It's hard. Life is difficult. I mean, I'd love to be doing music full time. I'd love to be taking the PMA and creating this music as a whole new genre that's recognized by the public and the music industry, and taking this to the next level. Sometimes it's just frustrating that it hasn't happened faster.
Pioneers often, they aren't the ones that gather all of the riches from something that they pioneer. I've certainly pioneered some things that I walked away from that didn't provide me with richness and financial riches.
Right, right.
But you're setting the foundation and the direction for many artists who will get involved in this type of music and have that hit,
Right.
that international hit that just goes and turns into unbelievable things.
Right.
That's the work that's done when an organization is 300-400 members, that is preparing each of those members and the ones that come along. And that's what we wanted to do with this interview, was to bring people to aware that there was such a thing. Just go onto the website and listen to the music there. It's just the quality of it and how it moves you forward. Certainly moves me forward.
Studios and things, but
well, yeah, you can. I wasn't saying that the talent,
right,
the expertise wasn't important. I'm just saying that
yeah.
you know, you can have. I know Kenny Loggins, buddy of mine. I know he produces most of his music in his own den.
Right.
He's got some pretty nice equipment, but still, he's not sitting in a studio at $1,000 an hour.
Right.
So,
right.
So listen, it's just great what you're doing. Give us some of those websites so that people can find the association, and also your coaching and your publishing.
Well, there's positivemusicassociation.com, and you know, you can check out the different members and samples of their music. You can go to there's a PMA radio tab on there that you can listen to, and just kind of explore, watch some videos and things, and get some, and then find, you know, there's all different styles of music. So if you like country, we've got country artists. So if you like more folk or pop from rock, there's all of that too. So.
And follow their links to their websites where you can access a whole range of music, lots of CDs of all of these different artists. Yeah. Yeah,
and if you explore my own music, it's at googlepress.com, and it's not like the search engine. It's spelled GOOGOL press.com.
Google. I was wondering how you say that.
That's actually how you.
We won't say it's Google Press, but it's Google Press, right? Yeah, that's how we get the name in there.
That's actually the correct way of spelling Google, which means 10 to the 100th power, and the Google, the search engine, misspelled it on purpose because they figured most people would spell it that way. But and then Johnson Coaching is the other website. I think we're in a place now that obviously there's lots of stuff going on in the world that eventually, I think, inevitably, it's a good thing. It's just a painful thing for a lot of us right now. But I think a lot of times you really have to have a breakdown before you can have a breakthrough, and I think that's where we're headed. And I think one of the things that we're starting to see is that we really are all in this all together as human beings, and it's just much better if we cooperate and work together than if we compete so extremely and use up all these resources to try to beat each other out and kill each other off. But there's enough to go around, and life is just so much more rich and fun and meaningful when we are working together and we're collaborating, and I think that's what everybody really wants. Sometimes we get confused and think it's about beating out the other person, but I think we're moving to a place where cooperation and collaboration and partnership and all that stuff is where the world is going. So we encourage that through our music, and I really believe that music is going to be the catalyst for this big shift. It's universal. Everybody understands the language of music. Music is just a wonderful way to feel something and to move people.
If we are going to survive ourselves in the 21st century, and I say, well, there's no absolute guarantee that we actually are going to survive ourselves in the 21st century. But one thing I do know, and that is that if we do survive ourselves, one of the reasons we do is because we sit around a lot of campfires and we play and listen to a lot of music like this that inspires us to show up the next day more positive and more authentic, more real, more honest, more in integrity. That's where this music takes me, and that's where it takes a lot of other people. Take us out of this interview, my friend, with a song, and just give us a minute of how that song got started, and then we'll fade into that.
This is a song called If This Were Heaven. How would we live right now, if we were in heaven, if we were in a place of joy, constant daily joy and celebration, how would we live now? Would we be different? How would we be? And that's the question it's asking. So I hope you enjoy it.
Scott Johnson, thank you so much for joining us on Music for a New World. It's truly been my honor to meet up with you again and talk about this, something that I really believe strongly in. Thanks again, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. You do the same. I love what you're doing, and it's great to reconnect with you.
Head on over to positivemusicassociation.com, googlepress.com, and Johnson Coaching. And through the Positive Music Association website, you'll be able to access all of the members. And if you become a member, people will be able to access you. If This Were Heaven, Scott Johnson.
If this were heaven, I'd sculpt each day in my own way, like a kid playing with clay. I'd embrace it with bare hands, mold it into something grand. Oh, if this were heaven. If this were heaven, I'd take my time and never hurry. Wouldn't waste my time with worry. I'd take more walks, have more heart-to-heart talks. If this were heaven. We work so hard to get somewhere, only to find that it's not there. If not now, then when, I ask, could heaven be like that? If this were heaven, I'd sing and dance like no one's watching, and smile without stopping. I'd laugh with friends, live a life of love that never ends. If this were heaven. We gaze upon the stars at night and wonder at their distant light. Heaven seems so far away from where we are today. If this were heaven, how would it differ from life now? Would who I am change somehow? Or is it just a state of mind, reached by stepping out of time and living as if this were heaven? Oh yes, living as if this were heaven. Oh yes, could this be heaven?